This is Pixel Papas, two sleep-deprived gamer dads hosting a podcast about mobile games marketing and AI, tackling UA challenges and diaper changes. Welcome and enjoy the show.
Hello everyone. Today we have a true Pixel Papa with us, a friendly guy from Slovakia with extremely strong experience in mobile games marketing. He's Chief Marketing Officer at Pixel Federation, Michal Prokop Grňo. Hello Michal, how's life?
Hey guys. Glad to be here. And yeah, I'm Pixel Papa.
OG one.
Cool. Let's dive straight in, right, with the standard question. So I guess you are a gamer, or you were a gamer when you were not a Pixel Papa. If you are still, what do you play?
It is a good question. I would say on a mobile, I try to play our games, just to understand like what we actually do and what do we want to offer to potential players, obviously. From the competition, recently, I started playing, as many of us did, the new Supercell game, Oko.
So we are playing that as well.
Yeah. It caught everyone's attention. And then I'm actually pretty new to console gaming. I never had a console when I was a kid. They were too expensive, and I never had a console for my course of career, basically. But since I'm a Pixel Papa, I bought a console to my children, right? Yeah, actually it's for me. So yeah, when I have time, I'm currently playing the games that were free on the PS Plus subscription. So currently The Last of Us. Yeah, I watched it's a funny thing that I watched the TV show before I played the game. So that's what I'm playing now.
So no surprises there.
Nah, no surprises.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the same. And when we were talking about your game, maybe you can tell to our listeners that what games do you have in Pixel Federation, and maybe will there be any new games?
Ooh, yeah. So Pixel Federation, we are currently focusing, or like the biggest titles that we have had in the past were transport tycoons. So namely the train station to Port City, Seaport. So mostly connected to trains. So there's like most successful games that we have. And also there were like other titles that weren't part of these, like the product strategy of building a tycoon games for specific male audience. Surprisingly, the most successful game that we launched and have and still are running actively UA on is Diggy's Adventure. It's like a story-driven puzzle adventure game. Like it's 12 years old and has content for at least 10 years of gameplay. So yeah, I would say that's the most successful one in terms of the longevity and the amount of revenue that we generated. But as a company, we are currently focusing on male-dominant audience and transport tycoon games. And if we have a new one...
No spoilers for a new one.
No spoilers. Yeah, I guess what it could be, maybe Train Station 3. Yeah, so yeah, we are launching this game pretty soon, actually.
Cool. So we will definitely play it.
Yeah, everybody put for Train Station 2.
3.
3.
Yeah,
almost got it.
Almost 2.
All right, and with the gamer as yourself, what's the favorite game of all time?
Actually, I was thinking about this question quite hard, and I would say that one that I spent most of my life with was Pokemon on Game Boy, actually.
Brother.
Yeah, so I would say that one.
I wasn't gonna bring something.
I have.
Oh my god! Yeah, this one.
I'm currently playing yellow version.
Yeah, actually, that was our first. No, that was the second one. When we got the Game Boy from our parents, me and my sister, I think it was Pokemon Red because of Charizard, obviously.
Yeah, it's the most expensive one now when you want to buy it on eBay, or because it's Charizard, of course. I have the blue version as well. The red one is the one I'm missing. So. Great.
I have to ask the question. So I just watched the series when I was small. I never played Pokemon game except the Pokemon Go. So what's the difference between these colors?
Well, that's a good question.
I think there are different, like currently, I don't know, maybe all the games, because with the new ones, there are different, like Scarlet and Violet, because you have different legendary Pokemon in there. But there are versions, for example, I think in yellow, you have Pikachu behind you all the time. But in a blue, don't have this option. You don't have Pikachu there. And there are some different Pokemons, yeah. So it makes you buy all games and transfer the Pokemons between
between the games.
between the games.
The ultimate strategy was like having friends that had the other versions, so you can transfer them between the games if you want to collect all of them. So yeah, that's my favorite game of all time, and I'm planning to get back to it when I find my Game Boy, right? Somewhere hidden in our parents' house.
Let's jump into the professional gaming and career. So you've been working in Pixel Federation for how long, and what was your initial position there?
Yeah, I had to check LinkedIn actually for the call. 11 years. So finishing the 11th year, I joined the company right after the university as data analyst for Diggy's Adventure. It was the project that I started working on, and then slowly moved to marketing when the game was launched on mobile. Worked with some cool people in the industry that grew in Pixel and then started their own companies. And and slowly, steadily moved up the corporate ladder.
And what got you to the marketing from data?
I would say the interesting thing was, it was about money. And in terms of like, I don't say the money, the pay,
so not
the
friends,
paycheck.
but money.
No. That ultimately was the position and the department where you had the potential to have the biggest impact from the very beginning, right? So with the game design, it takes time to implement changes based on the data and see the results of your work. But on the marketing, you would see it right away, right? And marketers in gaming and especially in mobile marketing, they're heavily dependent on the data and the predictions and the reports. And I really like that, the fast-paced environment of the marketing department.
All right. So you still have but you have a strong background then in the data. Do you kind of still utilize it in the marketing?
Yes and no. So I'm not really active in the data analysis department or like the work that our team does, but I'm using the reports basically every single day, and I hope to not design them, but at least some guide the people that are working in the data department, like what's important and what's not, what is not, and how things should look like, and what do we need, and so on. If I see opportunities based on the data, like the predictions, LTV modeling, and so on, then I can be an asset for the rest of the department, right? But not actively doing the data analysis. There are people that are much faster now than I am.
Yeah. I'll give you the tough question because you have a data analyst background and we are more about creative. I used to be more about data and also like studied data analytics and whatnot, but I became more creative oriented. So what do you think is more important for you, data or creative?
Money. I mean, no, in current environment, I would say creative is more important. With the data, like in the past, it was like you could add like a lot of value just being more sophisticated with the data. But now when the platforms that we use for user acquisition have everything internalized and everything is automated, basically, and there are not many levers that you can basically adjust. There are only like, bids, budget, geos, and that's it. Not much else. It's the creative that drives the most value to the company. It's like if you find a hero or win a creative, it changes everything. You can add significantly more values. I would say creative now, surprisingly.
Yeah.
These days, right?
After IDFA, basically, like everything when the privacy came on and the data analytics started to be like really tough job, and I thought and I still think that the future is creative.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, it's still important to have the data in line and understand like what's driving the value. But, like you can have the best stack ever, but without creative, you are lost. You will won't have any money at the end. And vice versa. Like you can earn money without knowing like what is happening, but it won't be the most efficient way to run the business. Both are important, but currently I think the bigger driver of value is the creative and finding the right one.
And when we jumped into the creatives, what is your creative process at Pixel Federation? Like from idea to actual art that is run by UA manager?
It's changed quite a lot in the last couple of years. So in the past, even before the IDFA and all around that era, like we were trying to like reinvent the wheel. We were like mostly trying to be as original as possible, not looking much at the market and the competition, what they are doing. And it was working in an environment when the whole market was growing and when basically you could do anything and the competition was there, but it wasn't so fierce, right? So we were basically trying to do all the ideation in-house, trying to let's say reinvent the wheel to find a creative without any market knowledge or market data. And it changed in the last couple of years when we realized it's not enough and we are not finding any winning creatives for a long time. And we started to look at what works for the competitors, not even direct competitors, but other gaming companies that are in the place, what they are using, how they are looking at the creatives, namely just starting with the fake ads. It's not an actual gameplay. It's not even like a CGI from that environment. It can be completely different thing, and it drives value for them because they're spending a lot of money on those creatives. So we changed that process to look more into the competition, to get more inspired by companies outside of our realm and from outside. So that's one thing that changed. And also we are trying to more involve the product itself. So we are doing all the creatives in-house in our marketing team, but not really involving the product. It changed now. So we are now more focused and working more closely with the product teams on the brainstormings and the ideation of the new concepts that we want to run. After the brainstorming, we create a short list of creatives with even some, maybe even a voting system, find the best, and we split it up by priorities. Then internally in the creative team create the creatives and run it in the UA, see what's working, what not.
Yeah, it was so cool back then, right? So no competition at all. No competition, but it wasn't so fierce, as you said.
Yeah.
And you could just do creative stuff, original stuff, and people were reacting to it positively. But when there is millions ads out there and you need to be not original, you need to be effective and reach the right people. In this competition, it's really hard. So being original, it's not enough right now. But it's also easier right now, right? So you just check the market and you see, okay, people are reacting to it well. Let's iterate it for our game.
Yes.
And yeah, so I saw some train station ads, and I like the way that you are just showing, or this is all about showing your game more simpler or simply in those ads. So the process of upgrading the train, it's probably not that straightforward like it's in the ads, but you need to show very quickly in interesting way, not exactly how it looks in gameplay to the players, that this is how you can just pressing the button. Or you had this nice 3D animation with some crane that is getting part of the train away, so it looked more pro. I really liked how it looks. It's really nice crafted.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. And yeah, that's true. Putting in more simpler, because the game, I wouldn't say it's too complex, but it's nowhere near simple idle game or hyper casual game. So you have to put some thought into playing it efficiently and get the most fun out of it. And the product is also it's more matured now, and we already had the core audience already depleted, but when you have a title that's there for 5-6 years, basically, the audience changes as well. So you adapt the creative strategy to attract other audiences that you were attracting in the first 2 or 3 years. So that changes as well.
If we could elaborate on this, because it's super interesting that you change the way you make creatives for new target audience, right? Because there is a legacy title, it's an old title, and it's an interesting way to think about it. So you don't only re-engage, you don't, so, but my question is, what was the initial point where you decided, all right, let's go with the secondary target audience? And what exactly did you do? When was it that you decided that? And what did you do?
Yeah. So when I would say it was 2 years ago, and say why, so also why or how, I would say by accident, actually. And it wasn't an intentional move to attract a new audiences, but yeah, you have some creative strategy, you understand what's working, and you make iterations of some concept that should work and attract the audience, the core audience, for example. And you realize, well, you can't milk it infinitely, right? You see the CPI is rising and the LTV CPI equation inequality doesn't work anymore. Your payback windows go from 3 months to 2 years, and you realize, well, it is not sustainable anymore, right? So you have to find a new way to attract new audiences or the same audience but with different angle, so you can lower the CPI again and make it work for a couple of months. But that was what we were doing in the past, but then it repeats and repeats, and the cycles and the durations of those periods when you have a well working creative that it's still attracting good quality users for a okay price, those periods are shorter and shorter, and you realize, well, you're fucked if you don't have a new product, for example. And then by an accident, we found we developed one of the new concepts. It was also like a fake edit, so it wasn't an actual gameplay, but it was train related, and it was like a sort of a puzzle thing where you have like multiple tracks and you have to like offload the train, but there is like a traffic jam of those trains. We call it internally bottleneck, right? And that creative like instantly brought like really good results on Facebook and other networks that we were running at that time. And we realized that, wow, this is amazing. We found like a gold nugget or something that we need to milk as fast as possible. So we scaled the budgets and see, but we found out that we attracted different audiences than in the past. So from the core audience that was like 35 plus male US heavy machinery, whatever, like some audience that was working in the for that particular title, we attracted younger audiences now, like below 35, 25 plus, or even like 18 plus. So that's the majority chunk of the audience that we attracted with the new creative. We extended the audience, but they behaved differently again. So they were more prone to leave the game because for A, it wasn't an actual gameplay, and B, their attention span is much lower than for the older folks. So we realized that it worked, but up to a certain point, and then we need to like, rethink the strategy. But for example, this particular concept, we are still using it in different iterations, variations, even like after more than 1 year after.
Did you expand this concept to other games as well?
We tried actually for the puzzle and Diggy's Adventure, but there wasn't much of a success. Then we expanded to the other tycoons. So it was like a port city, like a ship game. We expanded there, and we haven't seen such attraction as on the train tracks. Because like with the ships, I guess it didn't make that much sense, or the execution of the creative wasn't as good as the train station one.
Sounds
And
like
do you have-
this randomness in creative production and UA. Like it sometimes happens and it breaks the
Yeah.
old school way of doing stuff, and then now you're stuck with the new system, new creative, and then you just hope it will work for a long enough period of time.
But we'll learn our lesson that we have to be careful about the audience structure that we acquire by the creatives, right? So we knew that some creatives are more attractive to older and younger people, but you can't look at the ROAS and short-term ROAS and hope it will be the same. It won't be. Like the different demographics behave differently, follow different LTV curve, basically.
Yeah, and these ideas, do you have the same idea makers that are working on all of the games, or there are idea makers per game?
I think they shuffle now. In the terms of the brainstormings, there's open for anyone from the creative team. And then, but there are people that are focused more on the puzzle and like, let's say the female audience, and then for the like tycoon audiences. So, but everyone can do anything basically. And with the ideation, it's more of not of a one person. So it's more of like a group of people that sit together and think of the different new ideas that we can use for creatives. And the most important part is like having the project owners and the game designers there as well. Have the best understanding what the product should be and how it should work and what kind of audience it should attract. Because like I think it's vital to find. I think it is increasing the chances that you find a winner creative when you have also the product feedback in those brainstormings.
What do you see, and how do you see the future of UA and maybe on creative strategy in the next 3 years?
It's a good question. I would like to believe that I'm a prophet, but I think none of us are.
We play as a prophet. Imagine you have a crystal ball now.
Yeah, I have a crystal ball. I would say like the ideation of the creatives will be even more important, and the execution of the creatives will be more automated. That's the first part. So with the developments in the AI, 2D art is like, I would say it's even like perfect now. You can do anything basically. You don't even need the artist to develop the 2D creatives. With the video, it's more tricky, but already we see like pretty good either hooks or short samples of AI generated video contents. I would say there will be more automation on the execution part, but the ideation and thinking like some out of the box concepts that actually will work will be still dependent on the people. But it will be much easier now to generate like hundreds or even thousands of different concepts and creatives I don't know how the platforms will react to the influx of so many new concepts and creatives, how they will adapt, like Facebook AI algorithm on the side of the ads and Google's and App Levins and so on. So I'm wondering how these platforms will adapt to such an increase in creative supply, say.
I think
That
you
might be
pointed
interesting.
out, yeah, you pointed out great thing that there's going to be a lot more new concepts because of AI, because of this automatization. So now we see some ads or statics that looks amazing made by AI, but imagine you have millions of those in your feed a day. You are not surprised like you are now when you see something like this is look cool. Everything will look the same. So as you said, and I think you pointed out great thing that idea will determine if you click on the ad and if you're not. So the guys that will be working with AI, what they are putting into it will be more important than how it looks like, maybe, because everything will look great in
Yep.
2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, everything will look
Actually,
perfect, basically.
I was the same with the same thinking and same vision of creative and AI and stuff until the last 2-3 weeks. Regarding this ideation, that the people will be still required for ideation, I'm kind of now leaning towards that ideation will be even better from the AI, like this out of the box thinking. I think we are feeding the AI with all these ideas, and eventually I think that you will just tell AI, like, give me a 3 out of the box ad ideas that have never been on the internet or something like that, and it will like give you stuff.
Yeah, but it will give you stuff even though it was on the internet because it was trained on something. I don't know. I mean, like, like, I think we all agree that people using AI will sort of like be enhanced versions on themselves and will be better than the rest of the people that are not using the AI because the productivity and capacity will be much bigger for the people that use the AI comparison to the others. But it's like, it's not all roses. Like a couple of months ago or a year ago, I would even assume like, yeah, the ideation is basically gone. Just generate thousands of images using Dolly or Midjourney or whatever to make creatives. And you find the right concepts, and then you iterate and make a video out of it, and so on and so on. It works, but not all the time. Yeah, there are examples where you could find the winning concept that you'll generate by AI in the beginning, and then you make it internally. But still, you'll waste so much money when you like generate thousands of images and put it into the live campaigns or test campaigns. Still, it will still cost money to find winning creative.
That's excellent point. We talked about it a couple of times, and many more times internally regarding this whole a lot of volume. There's millions of ads, but it takes, first of all, time and resources to generate it, to use it, then have a process to test it. Then it should have some kind of a spend to have like statistical significance. And then in the end, you might be wasting just the same amount of money on testing millions of shitty ads.
Yes. It's like you have to have some, but it surprises you both ways, right? So you can do some filtering in-house by, let's say, an art director or someone, or even the UA manager. Like, I don't like these ads, it's like they look shitty. But sometimes even the shitty ones work better than the good-looking ones, and that makes sense. So it's tricky, but ultimately, like when you look at the platforms, like what drives the values are like videos and videos plus playables.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
So the statics can bring value, but for us at least, like they can get enough of the share of voice in the campaigns, but they usually work worse than the video creatives, where you even like show some actual gameplay. Might be cheaper, might have better initial ROAS, but much lower long-term retention curve. Down the line, doesn't work.
I've heard this and seen this a couple of times, which is like in few latest campaigns, it's like 3 times lower static ads, CPIs for static ads compared to gameplay. But let's see how the LTV curve will look like.
Exactly.
And maybe then use it as a hook. You put it in some AI tool, some great performing static ads, and just, put it as a first frame of your video, first 2 seconds, and then you have hooked player on something they like, and then gameplay. So retention is higher, ROAS is higher.
Might be good. Yeah. Nice tip for the viewers.
Yeah, that's like a marketing advice already. But what marketing advice would you give, Michal, to smaller studios or smaller games or marketers?
Yeah. Test ultimately, when you have a game, like to test it thoroughly on the live environment, so have enough of a budget to test whether the game concept works, whether the retention curve is there, and whether the monetization ultimately is there, and then yeah, I would say don't look at only the early KPIs, but also the longer ones, right? Even like don't look at on day 0 RASP or day 3 or day 7, but if you have a game that is only 7 days of gameplay, then yeah, but be thorough about making decisions based on the short-term KPI.
And what's enough budget for you?
Well, that's a good question. I've seen well-performing titles, even with I would say a couple of tens of thousands a month in terms of the budget on the UA. That is sufficient, but having a couple of hundreds for the first few months of the post-launch or like when you are launching title can be beneficial when scaling.
So if you're a smaller dev and if you believe in a game, just go to the bank, get 200K, put it into UA.
Yeah. Put your house as a leverage, and that should work. No, that's not a good advice. It's not a good advice. But I think like I was surprised. I was like picking a couple of 2 years ago. I think I was thinking like the consolidation and big players will eat the whole cake, and there will be nothing left for the smaller devs. So you can't have like small studios, small budget, won't make it. But I was surprised by a couple of studios, even in this area, that were able to develop a good game, really good game with really good KPIs. And even with the low budgets, they could be able to be profitable and scale the game and their business sustainably without asking for too much money from the investors or the banks, right? So I was wrong, quite heavily wrong, because like I've seen those examples in the recent months, and I believe there is still opportunity for even like smaller devs to be successful. And this
Yeah, when
fierce
you are
competition.
probably a smaller dev, you should aim maybe for the concept that are not casual right now. So if you create something like Royal Match, let's say, it wouldn't probably perform good because Royal
Yeah.
Match ads would eat you. But when
Yes.
you have little twist there, so it's Royal Match, something like this with, I don't know, zombies, let's say, it is enough maybe to, to be seen in those ads and maybe grab different part of the target audience of the Royal Match game. So
Yeah, that's a good point. Just don't go against the biggest competition. Yeah, like the idea in the past that we had, like there's like imagine there's the match 3 market and it's super big. Just take out of it 1%, it will be enough. Doesn't work like that.
Maybe grab the mechanic, grab something what you like, what you believe in. I think it's very important that we are building a game with some knowledge and something that you would like to play the game when it's gonna be out, and it should work probably.
Yeah,
Martin, should we make a bus station then? Bus station 1.
What's a bus?
Train station, bus station,
Buses,
or truck station. Trucks.
Truck station, yeah.
Truck
Anything station or port.
Port station.
Port station.
That's really close to a thing that I won't say.
Yeah. It's just a coincidence.
Port hub.
Oh, that should work. Actually, it might have more.
Yeah.
It'd be like, okay, I have 10 minutes of time, so let's pour. I type it wrong. Oh, what is this game?
Yeah. Just buy the domains, please. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I think we can end it up here on a good note and on a funny note. Yeah, it was cool talking to Mr. Ultimate Pixel Papa, Michal. Thank you very much for coming here and sharing. Yeah, you shared a lot of important stuff for even bigger studios, to be honest. So yeah, thanks for transparency, for being here, for being nice as always, and see you around.
Yeah, see you around. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Michal. Take care.
Bye,
everybody.
Bye.
Follow,
Bye.
like. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.